Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report from the NFL Combine. What you're going to see today is all the clips that I have, and we're going to be breaking down just some of the biggest talking points from the Combine today for the Silver and Black. And in all honesty, I think Raider fans are going to be really excited about what we have prepared for today, because even though we don't have any GM, we don't have any head coaches, a lot of players talk today, and I also asked a NFL coach about one of our coaches, and he gave an unbelievable response. So I do really think that y'all are going to be fired up and excited about the clips that we got today. But hey, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. I've been able to meet so many people here. It's been a very humbling experience at the Combine, being able to reach out to meet so many new people, so many people that appreciate the content that we provide here. But if you're looking for exclusive NFL Combine clips, news, updates, I promise you, I'm going to do everything in my power. You already know. Hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. So some of the clips that we're going to go through today, again, this clip that I'm about to show you is not Fernando Mendoza. Mendoza actually talks on Friday. I can't wait to try to get in front of that podium. I don't know how early I got to get here. I might tailgate for it, which would be a hell of a time. But what I did have the opportunity today is sit in the same room with linebacker Aiden Fisher, who was probably arguably the best linebacker actually on that Indiana Hoosiers team, and he was asked about Fernando Mendoza. We're going to kick it over to the clip so that way you can hear what Mendoza's teammate had to say about him.
As a leader, what would you tell them?
As a leader, they're getting the best. Being around him the past year has elevated my game so much, made me a better person, better teammate, a better leader as myself. He's somebody who just elevates everybody around them. He's an unbelievable, obviously a talent, but just an amazing human being to be around. I think just people gravitate towards him. I think that's huge and speaks volume to who they're getting.
Any particular memories stand out just from the past year with him?
There's a lot of memories that stand out with him. I think just seeing every fourth quarter game that, when we need him the most, the poise that he had leading that offense. I think a lot of times, teams or quarterbacks can get a little shaky in the fourth quarter, especially, say the Penn State game. And he ran out there with a smile on his face and all the confidence in the world. So that's the type of guy they're getting right there.
One of the things that Fisher said there that I loved is that, Mendoza made him a better leader, made him a better man. And one of the biggest reasons why I want the Raiders to draft Fernando Mendoza is because, to me, a true franchise quarterback, you don't only make the offense better. You're not only just taking the quarterback. You're trying to bring in somebody that makes all of your players better. Offense, defense, special teams. And that's what Fernando Mendoza is going to be able to do. He smiled when he started talking about some of those memories. He was really saying how impressed he was in Mendoza going out there in that Penn State game, smile on his face. They're losing in Happy Valley. And for somebody that's been to Happy Valley, hell, I was supposed to go to that game with some of my college buddies. Unfortunately, was unable to make it. But that's the type of leader that you want in the biggest moment, the biggest situation of the game. He's got a smile on his face because he knows he's about to go down the field and he's about to win this mother effer. So my question to you and everybody out there, please go down to the comments section and let me know, what is a question that you would ask a teammate of Fernando Mendoza? And the reason why that I ask this is because over the next 2 days here, D'Angelo Pons, Lewis Moore, Riley Nowakowski. Obviously, we're going to talk to Mendoza, Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper Jr., Roman Hemby, tons and tons and tons of teammates of Mendoza. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get every single one of those guys. Now, maybe we look at a player or two like a Riley Nowakowski. Klint Kubiak said today that that's an organization that they're going to be trying to add a fullback and tight end, fullback, maybe a little bit of a Kyle Juszczyk type of hybrid that we could implement in this Raiders offense in a Klint Kubiak system. So please, you're about to get hit with the YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, scroll on down and please answer this question. What's a question that you would ask a teammate of Mendoza? Let's go to the next story here, next clip, if you will, and it's going to be around Maxx Crosby. And Maxx Crosby is a hell of a player. And all I'm going to say is this. For Ruben Bain was asked today about, some of the players that he models his game after. And I actually don't have the clip, unfortunately, on Ruben. But we're just going to talk about Maxx here a sec, because Bain was asked, who are all the players that, you kind of model your game after? And Maxx was obviously one of those players that was, stated. Actually, we were walking around, here at the Combine. I was walking right next to Ruben Bain, and he's a thick lower half dude, and you can say pause, you can say giggity, but it's the God-honest truth. Arguably the best defensive end here at the class. I also really wanted to try to get a clip of Akeem Messidor. I know there's a lot of Raiders fans, myself included, that I think getting Messidor is way more likely than obviously getting a Ruben Bain Jr. Ruben Bain's going to be a top 5 pick. Messidor, because of the age, because of some of the injury concerns, could end up falling there to pick number 36 in round 2 of the 2026 NFL Draft. But unfortunately, Messidor was unable to make his podium time, which was originally at 11 a.m. He did show up a little bit later, but I spoke to somebody here at the Combine, and I was just kind of like, how often does that happen? This is my first Combine. And the person told me, usually that happens when something is flagged with the medical. So the fact that Ruben Bain Jr. did come back out and interview and did some sort of press conference, I wish I could have got it. It was just there's so many other things that we're doing here at Chat Sports. But Akeem Messidor, something that I'm going to watch out for is the foot, because there was a chance that it could get flagged down, and because he was late here to his podium, I'm going to wonder, is there some issue with that foot? And I do think that that's important for Raiders fans, because with this 3-4 defense that we're running with Rob Leonard, I think finding a guy like Messidor, finding more athletes on the outside edge linebacker that can get north and south and get after the quarterback is going to be something really important here for this defense. Coming up next year, though, we're going to get into some more clips from the NFL Combine today, some of them that I filmed, some of them that some of our guys here at Chat Sports filmed. But no matter what, the number one reason why this show is free, it's because of our awesome sponsor here, Prize Picks. They are America's #1 fantasy sports app out there, available in all 50 states. And if you're trying to shoot your shot on Prize Picks, you can get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every dime, every board that much more exciting. So don't miss the chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports. It is really simple to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get your picks right, you could cash in. The lineup that you're going to see up on screen, that's not my personal lineup, but this time of the year, like if I'm going to watch a basketball game, if I'm going to watch a baseball game, don't be afraid to get a flipping lineup in. Maybe you're hanging out with your buddies. The guys and I, we went out yesterday to St. Elmo's, and I had some unbelievable shrimp cocktail. It's going to wake you up. You know what else is going to wake you up? When you get $50 in lineups after playing your first $5 lineup. So if you haven't already, go download the PrizePicks app today. Make sure that you use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Now, I'm that Raider fan that's a sicko that I'm just going to ask questions that I want to hear. And I'm not going to lie, there's at times I actually feel bad looking at some of these NFL prospects, and I'm asking them very Raiders generic questions. But that's why I'm here, and that's why y'all are watching the show. So we're going to talk about Raiders special teams coach, brand new, Joe DeCamillis. He was with the South Carolina Gamecocks the past 2 seasons. I had the opportunity to sit down and talk, not sit down, he was standing, we were both standing, I don't know why I said that, but Nick Barrett, defensive tackle for South Carolina. This is what he had to say about new Raiders special teams coach, Joe DeCamillis. The Raiders hired Joe DeCamillis. Do you have any fun stories from him?
Yeah, Jody just, I ain't gonna lie, he's a good guy, man. He's a funny guy too. Like I say, like all my memories from him came from like those special teams meetings that we had Fridays before the games, like just like the mindset meetings that we had before we broke out and went to the universities. Those are like some good meetings.
Honestly, dude, huge shout out to Nick. He was a super nice, young, humbling man, and like he took multiple questions from me. Now, he didn't have as big of a crowd as some of these other players did around him, but I took my shot and, hey, shoot or shoot. So what I also asked him was essentially like Tonka Hemingway. He played multiple seasons with Barrett at South Carolina. The Raiders clearly need to build. We need to rebuild in the right way. So the question that I asked Barrett was like, why is Tonka Hemingway a player that would be smart to build around? New regimes come in. Sometimes the new regime moves on from old players. But why is Tonka Hemingway a player that the Raiders should rebuild with? Here's what his former teammate had to say. You played multiple seasons with Tonka Hemingway. The Raiders need to rebuild. Why is he a good player to rebuild with?
And Tonka's going to work hard. I feel like Tonka's real reliable, real competitive, and he's going to give you all that he has. He's going to give you 110% every time he steps on the field. I mean, he does everything to prepare. Real professional. he channels a lot of energy into the game.
We started this show with one of my favorite clips with Aiden Fisher talking about Fernando Mendoza. We're going to finish this show with probably my other favorite clip that we got today here at the NFL Combine. Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald, who he's got a lot of interesting ties to our brand new defensive coordinator, Rob Leonard, and obviously Klint Kubiak, multiple coaches that came over from Seattle. So I had the opportunity to ask Mike McDonald about the Raiders' new 3-4 defense, because right when I was running over to the podium to talk to Mike, the news came out, which if you haven't seen it yet, it's on my Instagram, it's on my Twitter, it's literally already on this YouTube channel, that the Silver and Black are going to run a 3-4 defense, which is different than what they used to run underneath Patrick Graham with a 4-3. Here's what Mike McDonald had to say, and I love this answer because you can tell him and Klint are buddies and him and Rob Leonard are buddies. So I essentially asked him, what tips could you give Klint Kubiak and the Raiders defense running a 3-4? Kubiak just said he's going to run a 3-4 in Las Vegas. What tips do you have for him?
Well, we kind of run a 3-4, kind of evolved to more of like a 4-down team with some 5-down principles. But I've said this before: you can't copy. There's no don't copy. Just have a vision of what you're trying to create, the systems that you believe in. What are the principles that you want to hang your hat on as a football team, and in each phase of the ball, and then go attack it. There's so many different ways to play, schematically, to play great defense. What you can't sacrifice is how you play. So Robbie Leonard is a friend of mine, and he's going to do a phenomenal job. He's a great football coach, and I know his vision will come to life for sure.
What makes
Obviously, my favorite part of that clip is how much love and respect he has for Rob Leonard. Leonard was underneath Mike McDonald in 2022 with the Baltimore Ravens, and I almost wonder if that's part of the reason, maybe why they're trying to run a little bit of a 3-4. He also comes from a 3-4 background with Brian Flores when those two were together in Miami. From 2019 to 2021, that's I'm talking about Rob Leonard with that overlap. But the other thing that Mike McDonald said that I love the fact that he said it, he literally was like, don't run the same defense we're running. And what's smart about that is, like, Mike McDonald, I think, built the defense that they did because it's with the players and the talent that they have. He comes from a 3-4 background, but what did they do? They went a lot more 4-3 this upcoming season, and that Seattle defense was arguably the best defense in the NFL. I think the big important message that he was giving to Rob Leonard, to Klint Kubiak, is kind of the message that a lot of us Raider fans have been giving this coaching staff for a long time. Play your players where they're supposed to be played. Good coaches find ways to use their guys in the right situations. They don't just go, this is what we run, and we're going to try to force everybody into it. That's not what a good coaching staff does. And coming from the guy that just won a Super Bowl, I think that that's really good advice to have. Appreciate each and every one of y'all tuning in to today's Raiders Report show here, boots on the ground at the NFL Combine. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure those notifications are turned on. And I'm going to be getting you guys more videos tomorrow. If any breaking news happens tonight, though, a live show from the crib would be wild.